What's cooking, folks? Vermillion Phoenix here, and today I'm going to be jumping into some more Orcs Must Die Unchained. This time we're going to attempt to 5-star the Falling Folly. So let's go ahead and get through this. This stage is particularly difficult mainly because you need a lot of burst damage. And there's not really too many options to do that with the starting traps. Your burstiest trap is floor spikes. And you also have the swinging mace, which can be set up in a few places. But also, the other important thing to understand about this stage is that wall traps are probably what you should build first. But let me go ahead and get started with that. Just so you're aware, barricades is floor spikes are tier 4, arrow, brimstones, and tar are tier 3, concussive pounder is 2, swinging mace is 1. Starting with the lion guardian and the vegetable amending. If you happen to have anything more than this, a second guardian, a second piece of equipment that may help you out, feel free to bring them. And I would also highly recommend wall blades. Flame sprayers, if you don't have brimstones, are great, but they actually may be a better choice. But since I've been using brimstones, I'm going to stick with those. And also, if you have a hero or a big game hunting ballista, bring one of those. Those are also really great. You can drop the swinging mace for that because it's a big enough difference just to drop that all together. Swinging mace can only go on like 2 places well in this map anyway, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show it to you. Let's see if we can par this time. Alright, now Max is super important here because of his cost discount. If you have anyone else, you're going to have fewer traps. So be aware. Build the barricades first, and I've saved 750 already. So you'd only have 4 grand, and what you want to do from there is, see, I'm gonna hop down here, and just arrow wall all of this up.
Measure twice, cut once. They'll never notice this. I'll just leave this right here. They'll never notice this.
And that will whittle down my enemies the most that it possibly can before they manage to make it over here. There's going to be some extra things that I can build up here, but we'll see what that's about in a little bit. Now, you want to hang off this side here and sort of try to pick off what you can. And moneybags is going to show up over here once he's able to punch through the gate. Either way, that's what you have to deal with. Earth elementals and stilt orcs at the bottom, wave 1, earth elementals and stilt orcs at the top, wave 2. And there's a moneybags at the top, wave 1, and the moneybags at the bottom, wave 2. So if you build traps at the bottom first, the moneybags will be weakened, or you just want to build it around there in general. But that's what we're going to start with. Let's go ahead and get this going. So there's the moneybags coming. He punches through his gate a lot slower than these guys, so they're going to be what we focus on. Don't spray shots all over the place. Pick your targets and make sure that you land. Also, fire one of those good bad boys over there so you can get that going as soon as possible. And you can see the arrow walls definitely doing their job. As soon as you hear the gate break over here, you want to fire that off on moneybags. Now, slows don't really do anything to these guys, so don't worry about that so much. Slow moneybags if you can. Drop a boulder on these guys if you need some extra time. And your second one of these should basically take him out. If you have a little bit lower account level than I do, you may have to actually pepper him with shots a bit more, but other than that, that should do it. If you have a character that has even higher character damage than Max, then you'll be even better off. Midnight does particularly well on this map. Either way, we need to start preparing for the next batch. Gonna do that. And then on with the arrow walls.
Almost hurt myself on that.
You get that up to force them to pass through here, even better. You can drop a brimstone in the back there, and that will help out even more. Burn everything that comes through. Weaken these guys as they're coming around, and if possible, make sure that you can take them out as well as the stilt orcs. The stilt orcs will deal damage to your barricades and your guardian, and then when these guys drop, you can just blast whoever's behind him, and you're pretty much safe. Alright, so he's taking a good amount of damage. We only need... Whoa. Let's see if we can... No. Nope. There we go. Woo. That was super close. Super close. You probably want to put a tar trap over on the right to give him a bit more time.
I'll never notice this.
Okay.
Twice, cut
Let me actually
Unstable rift is opening. Destroy it.
set these up. If you need one of these, hit them with the in your faces, you should be pretty good. Also, try to get as much damage on him as possible while he's coming up, just so that he doesn't get up too powerful. He'll also die before anyone else does. And again, that boulder, well, maybe the physics bonus damage doesn't work on heavy enemies. Alright, we can finally get the bonus damage to in your faces, which is great. It's everything that we want right now, because our damage is a little low to be dealing with the caliber of enemies that they have on this stage. So Max is being really aggravating, but we got a second boss, so we want to take out that second boss, stun him, pop him with the in your faces, and then I believe you should largely be okay. We're going to pop the Vegetable of Mending because there's not too many situations in which you want to use it. Let the gnolls run in. They're completely okay. Do not let any of the golems touch your rift though. Golems bad, gnolls okay. Alright, so we need to get a few more things set up here. Arrow walls here, and then we're going to start the rest of the good and dangerous traps. Alright, so that will get us a bit of solid damage over there, which we really want. And make sure that you do as much as you can to get your Unchained meter up. We're going to start needing it very heavily for the next couple of waves. Alright, let's see if we can get this done. Small enemies coming up on the right. I believe they should be orcs. Looks like it. Drop a boulder on them. Okay, and then let the lightning damage take out whatever else manages to clump up here. There's a few more things you want to do to make this work out really well for you. And we got to get some more burst damage traps up here because, as you can see, picking off the enemies one at a time is relatively slow, and Max has no real solid AoE. So,
I'll just leave this right
more arrow walls. Okay. Don't let the little guys through, and if possible, make sure that these guys kind of get broken down under your,
I'll never notice this.
here we go,
Twice,
under
cut
that
once. Whoopsie.
mace.
Almost hurt myself on that.
Gonna put up another one of these right here, and then we're also gonna add a stun
I'll just leave
here
this right here.
and
I'll
here.
never notice this.
So that's most of our trap count. We're over halfway through it, but we're going to start adding some more ground damage because after they decide to finally stop sending stilt orcs after you, what they're going to do is decide to send all these heavy guys in. Okay, so kind of pick off these shield guys before they actually make it too far. Once you don't have to worry about the shields anymore, you should be able to just DPS them down as they get around here. Of course, we don't want any of the regular trolls anywhere near us either, but they have no frontal defenses, so they're not absorbing any of our damage, and we get to keep our DPS high by getting rid of them as soon as possible. Now, what we've been doing basically so far is just making sure that our Guardian is able to keep his health up. We're going to Unchain and start dealing as much damage as we can here. We're going to mash Z so that we can get through this, and then start dropping
Cut once.
more DPS traps, especially
Whoopsie.
towards the front
Almost hurt
there.
myself on that.
That's really a lot of what we need. Also, there we
I'll never
go.
notice this.
There's going to be more heavy waves coming from now on. So taking enemies out up here will help to fill up your Unchained gauge really quickly because of all the traps that we have stacked next to each other. Those arrow walls getting pinged shots on each of the enemies individually will also help. And then you have that stream of heavy ogres, which are sort of going to bobble up as they get towards the top. Right when they get towards your guardian, you can turn around and just sort of pop a few shots on them. They'll be largely weakened from everything that we placed on that side already, which is what you want. Like, let your traps deal the damage that they can. Focus your DPS on the shortest path, and then once you have the opportunity to take them out without wasting a whole lot of time, do so. So that's what we're going to do here. Oh, and I completely missed that. Little mistakes like that can actually cost you par, so be careful. And we're going to add that. Don't think we really need one there. That's good, that's good. Just in case, we're actually going to add a little bit of those. And then we're going to work on trapping this up just a bit more. Okay, I think that's largely what we need to do. We're going to drop that deflector shield so that you can actually get in there without taking too much damage. We're going to murder Smolder directly in her face. Wait for her to blow up. Alright, now deflector shield's back, so we're going to run in again, deal a bit more damage to Smolder, and then back over here. Unchained, and then let everything have it. Don't hold anything back, pop your abilities, spray, like let the damage just hit everything that you possibly can. The goal with this stage is just to keep as much DPS as you can happening so that you get through it without wasting too much time. Now, that being said, we want some more traps over here, but I don't really have time to place them, so this might be a bit of an issue. Now that we're dealing with a lot of kobolds, actually I may be able to do it from here. There we go. Don't let them guys get too far on you, or else you will have a bit of an issue.
Okay, I am not bleeding out.
Alright, so now that we have these heavy guys coming, if you place the barricade split there like I've actually done, it will prevent the enemies from being able to just freely blow them up. If you only place a single one, there's a good chance that they'll be able to do that. So be careful. Alright, and brimstones are regenerating fast enough that it's not really an issue. Now, I don't have any parts in any of my things, so they're behaving as, you know, whatever their current level of trap is only. Nothing else is actually happening there. There's no other exploding kobolds coming. So that's the wave. And what are we looking like? 2 more waves. And we got about 2 minutes 25 seconds to do them. This is the fastest that I've actually done this solo. So that's it's really good. Now we have about 10 more traps to place.
Cut once.
I think we're going to do that. And then I'm going to come out here, put a brimstone there, and there. And then we're going to come back here and start having the damage happen as soon as possible. Remember to get behind the shield guys so that they're not absorbing your DPS. Otherwise, you may find yourself missing par, and that's super important. If they do get a bit close, that's fine. Just try not to let anything get into the rift and use the trap's DPS to your advantage. Now, I took Persistent. Persistent is one of Max's most consistent damage upgrades, and it's extremely important because it basically causes short-range auto-aim to happen. And it looked for a second like I was actually shooting my Guardian, which is weird. So as the enemies break, you'll see me automatically firing on them, and because of the lightning AoE that happens, it's also super important. Now, everything else being said, we are going to be dealing with even more tight enemies happening now. There's going to be moneybags at the top, which you really don't need to worry that much about. We have a whole minute to do this. Alright. Fire this. Kill him. Drop your deflector. As soon as that runs out, Unchained. Alright? In your face is the boss again to kill him. All the DPS that we built up down here is working. Pick this up if it happens. kill all the guys that you can at the bottom, and then start firing at the money bags. If you happen to kill them early enough, they will not eat up your par, and you will be fine. Yes, it is dealing. It is aiming at my guardian. I'm not sure if that's actually dealing damage, but that's really bad. All right, and let's see if we part that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes! And that is literally probably right on the nose. Let's see what happens. $12.06. No, we were 19 seconds under par, which is great for a solo play with no parts in the traps. And I got a level. Well, good things happen all the time, right? So there we go. That is the Falling Folly. Now, you can see if your trap DPS gets under about 260,000, it is a very high chance that you will not be able to par that stage. That's about the amount that you need to do. My player DPS was 143,000. Now, I've had runs of this where I do even more player dealt damage, but trap damage is dealt best on this stage and bursts to wide areas. So if you can fling enemies off of stages, that's great. You're going to need somewhat moderately leveled flip traps and things like that to have them work well. But again, the goal is just to deal damage to groups of enemies with your traps, not focus on individual ones, just because that's always the least efficient way to deal damage. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if it helped you out at all. You know, feel free to leave feedback on this video. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one. If there's anything that you'd like to say to me as well, drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed this or felt it helpful, like it or upvote it on whichever platform you happen to be watching this on. It'll go up in a few places, usually on YouTube first. And other than that, thanks as always for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Thanks as always, guys, and until next time, have a good one.